Hi, and welcome to another channeling video. I want to say first off, thank you for all the wonderful comments of support and encouragement. I so appreciate them. I read each and every one of them, and they give me so much energy. As you know, this line of work is not very traditional, and it takes a bit of guts to do it because it's like a lot of people think it's really weird. But I do trust the messages that come through, whether I agree with them or not. You know, sometimes I don't, sometimes I don't understand it, but I do see the value in it. So I really appreciate your encouraging words. They mean a lot and they really help the work because it is really, the messages really do come through as an answer to the collective energy of those of us watching. So it's not just, I'm not the only one involved in the work. So you play a really big part, and I want to thank you for that. Thank you for the encouragement. I also want to say that we have a playlist. I want to remind you that there is a playlist of all of the channelings. So if you go to if you click on playlists on Lattice channel, you're going to see one of there's lots of playlists, but one of them is channeling with Emina, and you should be able to see all of the past channelings. I'm saying that because some of the questions that come up are things that we've already channeled. So if you feel like you need more, you want to check out more channelings, the playlist is there. Enjoy it. And I also want to remind you that we have, if you want to learn to channel, we have a class this Friday. So this is last few days when you can, well, it's not the last few days, but I think the price is going to go up because we have an offer now. So if you want to learn to channel, we are going to do it live. I will go through the process with you. You will be channeling while we're live. If you're not watching it live, which you don't have to do, then whenever you are watching it, I'm going through the steps and you will be able to channel and you will experience what that feels like. You will be able to get some help and guidance in terms of how to interpret that and how to understand the messages that come to you and how to get to know your own intuition. So I am pretty confident that when you turn up or whenever you watch the webinar, that you will be channeling. I am super confident. And so, yeah, it's on this Friday, and there is a link in the description box if you want to sign up. It is $149, I believe, right now, and the price will probably go up after Friday, after the webinar has been live. So the questions for this time, I'm loving these. They're great. Some of these have come up like multiple times, so I feel like it's about time to do them. Number one is angel numbers or repeating numbers. So when you see numbers like 1111, 2222, or angel numbers, there's as like a message from angels. How do they work? Like, what do they mean? That's question number one. Question number two is how to deal with toxic parents. This is a wonderful one because family dynamics are what they are, and toxicity is so prevalent in our society. So I think this one might be useful for a lot of people. And toxicity can be in like varying degrees. It could be slightly toxic or very toxic. And so I think that was a really good question. How do we deal with toxic parents? That's question number two. Number three is, what is the cause of obesity? And I've had other similar questions about why do we keep losing, like why do we gain weight after we lost it? What is the dynamics? What's going on? What are the causes for gaining weight or losing weight? That could be interesting. And the next question is, what is healthy femininity and how do we encourage it? So we've talked about masculinity, femininity, what do men need, what do women need? But we've not really addressed toxicity in women. So how does that express itself in the feminine form? The fifth question is, how does Ho'oponopono work? I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's a Hawaiian prayer that is supposed to be really effective for healing relationships. And I have tried this. I find that it's very effective. And I'll go into what it's about when I do the question. And the last question is, does doing magic give bad karma? So whether it's good magic or bad magic, does it give back karma. I have my own experiences, my own opinions on this, but it would be good to see what Spirit has to say. My personal experience is that doing magic of any form expresses a lack of trust in the perfection of the universe and the perfection of God. And so it is an attempt to micromanage God's work. And so I have found it to be effective, but not constructive. So I do believe it does work. I just don't, my personal opinion is that I don't see the value in it. I don't see it's beneficial. I think it's better not to. But that is my personal point of view, and being aware of that, I'm going to be objective in the message, whatever comes through. But of course, I do have my own opinions on certain things, but I want to be, when I channel, I want to be objective. So let's get started with the first question, which is angel numbers or repeating numbers. What is the deal with that? It's a message from your higher self or your guides or whoever you put your faith in. It is a message of encouragement. Sometimes it is a message of realignment when you need to be reassured in a specific path or a decision. So do they come as do they have a purpose? Do they give me more on that. They are one of the multiple ways that we can receive messages, and these types of messages will come to those that are likely to understand them or pick them up or see the significance of them. So what about repeating numbers when you see like 1111 or 2222? They are a confirmation that you are on the right path. They are subtle messages of support, reminder that you are always supported, and an encouragement to show you that you are aligned. But depending on what the numbers are, they will tell you a subtle message to hint at a specific thing that has been on your mind or a situation that you are dealing with in life. What about angel numbers? Because they don't have to be like 1111, they could be anything. They too are a message. And if you see a specific number coming up multiple times, then you can look it up to receive your message. Those that receive this type of message will know and understand how to use them. We can only confirm that they are indeed a message for you, although these types of messages will only come to those that are open to receiving this particular type of message. Messages and signs will come to you in whatever form is best aligned with you. And so, people that are not interested in these types of numbers will get their signs and messages in other ways that make sense to them. There are multiple ways that we are communicating with each of you all the time. Thank you. That's that on the numbers question. Next one is how to deal with toxic parents. Recognize that if you experience your parents as toxic, this is a sign that they are carrying some unprocessed pain. So, one thing that will benefit you is to recognize the pain in them and know that the cause of their behavior is their pain. Although that might not change the situation, it will give you some peace in your heart and some compassion for the fact that they are dealing with their own pain and it is affecting their behavior. It will also help you understand that you are not at fault, and although their behavior is affecting you, it is not necessarily because you have done anything wrong. Okay, so how do we deal with it? How do we deal with it? It all depends on the family dynamics. If you know that you have it in you to be the bigger person, you may be able to help direct them in a healing direction. The person who asked the question has this maturity to do so. Just the asking of the question shows a level of understanding that would be necessary in order to help the parents. However, helping someone else in the right direction does not equate to accepting or tolerating toxic behavior. It does not mean you should allow your boundaries to be violated. It does not mean you should put up with bad behavior. All it means is that when you see this toxic behavior, you can direct your parent firmly but kindly and lovingly in the direction of their healing by saying, "Your behavior is harmful, and I recognize that you have a pain, but while I will not be tolerating bad behavior towards me, I feel compassion with you, and I would wish that you look into how you can alleviate your pain." If you are able to, you can be supportive in helping them alleviate their pain. The toxicity of parents is most relevant when it comes from the mother because of the child's need for their mother. The needs for a close relationship with the mother is greater. It has a greater emotional impact. Toxic behavior in fathers generally tend to affect the children less because of their they have a greater emotional distance to the children. And by children, we mean even adult children. Okay, so what do we do? Do we distance ourselves? What do we do? Sometimes the toxicity may be so severe and the parent might be so unwilling to deal with their own pain, that the best thing might be to temporarily distance yourself from this parent for a while. But the general rule is to, rather than accept the behavior, to direct the parent to notice their own pain, address the parent's pain, and if possible, be supportive in alleviating the pain. Make the parent understand that this issue is not in you as a child. This issue is with the parent who is in pain. Make the parent understand that their behavior has to do with their own suffering. Do guard your boundaries. It is a loving act to not allow even your parents to violate your boundaries. They do not usually mean to. If they are not told where the limit is, they might overstep it. And so it would be a loving act to remind them what your limits are, where your boundaries lie. Okay, so is it possible to help the parent into a more healthier behavior, and help them in their pain? You are limited in your ability to help them. You can guide them, you can support them, you can direct them in that direction, but you cannot usually remove their pain or do that work for them. In order for the parent to move in the right direction, they first need to be made aware of what the problem really is. They're not always aware. So by making them aware, that is a wonderful, helpful thing you can do for them. Once they are aware, you might need to remind them every now and then, and they will be very grateful to you for not allowing them to hurt you, because they do not want to hurt you. They do not mean to hurt you. And they will be grateful that you could see their pain. They will, even if they do not say thank you, they will feel grateful, and they will appreciate the love with which this was done. Okay, so do I understand it correctly that it changes from situation to situation, but that the key is to help remind them that it has to do with their pain and not let them step on your boundaries? Is that the case? Yeah, that is the key, but the way in which this will be done will vary from situation to situation. Sometimes you will need to distance yourself in order to protect your boundaries. And in some cases, some loving reminders will be enough. But as long as you keep in mind these keys, you will find the correct way for you and your parent. Okay, what if both parents are toxic? If both parents are toxic, then they may be supporting each other in their toxic behavior and enabling each other. And so you may be outpowered and outnumbered. And so you may need to distance yourself. But do remember that while you may or may not help them, it is very important that you guard your boundaries and that you know your worth and that you do not allow anybody, even your parents, to cross your boundaries and take liberties with you. Thank you. I hope that was helpful. It was really to the point, which it usually is with spirit. But I think we got some good key points there. The next one is obesity. What is the cause of obesity, and why do we end up gaining back the weight that we've lost? What is the cause of obesity? It is a comfort for emotional hurts. It is connected to an inability to let go of the past, an inability to let go of slights, emotional slights. It gives a sense of emotional protection. But is it real emotional protection, or is it just the feeling of emotional protection? It gives a sense of protection when the person feels safer. That will be their experience. But because the sense of safety does not come from within, but is based on a behavior, they are still vulnerable. So why do we end up gaining back the weight that we've lost? If we go on a diet or whatever and we lose weight, why do we end up gaining back the weight? It is because a sense of loss of protection. And that's not it. Okay, so what do we do to make sure that when we lose the weight that we really keep it off? What do we do for that? You need to strengthen not just your body, but your spirit. And know that even though people may do hurtful things, you can choose not to allow that to affect you. Really? Because if we're hurt by something, can we really choose to not be hurt by that? You can decide that things people say and do to you will either hurt you and affect you, or it will not. You can choose how you want to approach these things. You will choose that other people's criticism will either get to you or not. And in that way, when you have decided that I control who I allow to matter and what words will matter to me, when you make that decision and you take the power back into your own hands, that will give you an internal strength and safety, and the padding of protection will no longer be necessary for you. So what about those of us who are on the opposite end and struggle to keep weight on, or those of us who struggle with eating enough, because I have that. I don't want to call it a problem, but I'm not eating enough, put it that way. So what about the opposite end of it? What's the cause of that? It corresponds to an inability to man, I lost it. It was like there for a second, then I lost it. Maybe I'm being resistant. Maybe I'm like not wanting to hear it because it's personal. Okay, so what is that? What is that? Let me understand why do we struggle to put weight on? It is an inability to receive in general, an ability to receive love, to receive help, to receive the goodness that other people are offering to us. So, while the body is starving, emotionally, you are also starving. And the degree to which your body is starving will be the degree to which you're emotionally starving. This was really hard to hear. This was hard to hear. Thank you. So what can we do to, what can we all do to attain a healthy weight and a healthy body with nutritious foods and good nutritious diet? What can we all do? Food is nutrients. It is representative of all the things that you need to thrive, to be strong. In life, you need love, support, safety. In food, you need nutrients. Your body will know what is the perfect amount for you and will constantly gear you towards that. What holds you back is resistance for emotional reasons, emotional resistance, or emotional hurts or pains that overrides your body's wisdom. So what can we do? Like, is there an easy way to deal with our attitude to food and nutrition? Your food represents your needs. So the way you are viewing food, your attitude towards eating and food will represent your attitudes to your needs. What is it that you need? Are you allowing yourself to get what you need? Are you feeling that you need something desperately that your environment is not giving you? Whether it is that you need strength from within, empowerment, or that you need support and love. Your attitude to food will reflect to you your attitude to your needs. You are either too self-sufficient and not accepting the support and love that is offered to you, or you are not self-sufficient enough and you are relying too much on what other people say or do. So a key to this would be to be empowered in yourself, but also open to the support and love that is around you, to receive the good things that you need from others, while also not put too much emphasis on negative comments from others or negative attitudes from others that may hurt your feelings. Whether you overeat or undereat, you must find a balance between needing others and being self-sufficient. Oh man, that was a little emotional for me. But I'm allowing myself to be a little vulnerable with you because I allow this process to be however it needs to be in order to fulfill our purpose to heal and uplift other people. And just like you may sometimes feel that some things really hit home for you, sometimes that's the case for me. Plus the solar eclipse coming up. So that makes it, a lot of things are coming to the surface. Okay, the next question is, and we still have 3 more questions, so I should maybe do them a little quicker if possible. Next one is, what is healthy femininity and how do we encourage it? So we talk a lot about toxic masculinity, but there's also the toxic femininity that we never mention. So what is healthy femininity? No, okay, I feel guided to first look at what is toxic femininity. For some reason, I felt like that we need to start there. What is toxic femininity? Toxic femininity is discreet, backbiting, manipulation, indirect aggression, expressing aggression either in words but indirectly, or to other people in terms of gossip. It is using tears for manipulation. It is generally toxic behavior that is indirect, whereas men tend to be more direct with their toxicity. Women tend to express it more indirectly or in roundabout ways or in a covert way. That makes sense. Okay, so how can we, what is the cause of that? Women, just like men, may want power. They may want influence. They might want to force things to their benefit. And so, if they are prone to toxic behavior, they will use these tactics to get what they want. Okay. So, what is healthy femininity? Healthy femininity is supportive. It is soft. It is non-aggressive. It is honoring of their feminine qualities such as softness and quiet influence and loving guidance. Healthy femininity is nurturing at its highest, helping people to grow and thrive. It is recognizing vulnerability and protecting it. It is appreciating beauty and multiple other ways that you recognize as natural feminine traits. So how do we encourage healthy femininity? It needs to be safe for women to practice healthy femininity, or indeed for men if they choose to express femininity or their feminine inclinations. It needs to be safe. If the safety isn't there, if feminine traits put you at risk or danger, then instinctively women may hold back with these traits. So what about in a relationship, for example? How may the partner help the woman to express her healthy femininity? By providing the safety that she would need to be soft. It needs to be safe for her to be soft, and her voice or point of view needs to be heard. If it is not heard, if she feels overpowered, then she may feel that she needs to employ covert tactics to be heard. What else apart from safety and security, and what else can the partner do to encourage it? This might sound obvious, but the femininity must be valued. Just like the masculine traits are valued in your society, the feminine traits must be valued, at least within the relationship, at least by the person who wants to encourage this femininity. You must know the value of the feminine traits. If it can be appreciated, then it is allowed to exist. If it is not appreciated, then the woman might feel that she has to put her femininity aside and act out male qualities in order to at all be heard or be allowed to take part. I think this was super profound, although it's like very to the point, and it's like a pretty short answer, but it's like I felt like it was really, really profound still, if you're really hearing the message. I wonder what y'all think. It would be nice to hear your comments on these in general, like the answers in general, because I think this was really profound, that if the woman doesn't feel safe to be feminine, if the feminine is not appreciated, then she feels like she has to be more in the masculine energy. I can relate to that. Looking back on my life, I can relate to that. Um, yeah, to recognize the value of the feminine traits, just like we value the masculine traits. I'm gonna settle with that answer because I think it made a lot of sense to me. I hope it made sense to you, but I really do want to hear what you guys think about the answers in general to these. If they make sense to you, it's really valuable to know, because sometimes I'm not sure if I've gotten into enough depth or if the message really came through, because it seems like sometimes they don't come through. Like, I get them, I understand, but maybe I haven't expressed it clear enough, or and I felt like people didn't always understand the full weight of the answer. So it would be interesting for me to see what you guys think. The next question is, how does Ho'oponopono work? Okay, I'm going to read you what it is. I have it here on my phone. Okay, so the prayer goes like this. It's a Hawaiian prayer. It goes like this. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. That's the prayer. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And it's supposed to be healing for relationships. So how does Ho'oponopono work? It breaks karma by, how do I explain this? What you're experiencing from other people is tangles that you have created in your interpretation of events and relationships. You create these tangles when you interpret things in a negative way. When you say the prayer and you make an effort to mean it, you are breaking the karma by forgiving them and asking for their forgiveness. By extending care and love, you are breaking the karma. You are giving up the karmic debt. When you feel that people owe you something, you create a karmic bond where you now owe them. By paying back what you owe in this way, in the form of this prayer, you break the karma, and the situation will be eased. And depending on how deeply this prayer goes for you, how deep your intention is for you, and how much you have repeated it, you dissolve the conflict more and more. You fix the relationship more and more. It can give magical results, because when you incur karma by thinking someone has done you wrong, thinking that someone owes you something, you are being blinded to your own flaws in your thinking and your own missteps. And even though you may not have meant to cause harm, this other person may have interpreted things in a way that caused them harm. And so, even though it wasn't your intention, you now, through this prayer, can untie these knots and allow for the energy to flow freely, and you will be met with the same kind of love and forgiveness back. This prayer works. And it works, you will know that it works really well by how resistant some people will be to using it, how stubborn they will be in maintaining those tangled knots rather than paying their karmic debt and resolving the situation. In order to resolve a conflict, you have to be willing to meet halfway and do your bit. But if you are insistent on being righteous and having other people pay you back, you are choosing to hold on to problems And so you get the problems that you are insisting on holding on to. That was a very clear message. I don't know why the hands went up. I felt I'm just going with whatever comes. I'm just the channel. So last question is, does doing magic give bad karma? So by magic, what I'm meaning in this context is anything from like candle magic to spells, like intricate spells or whatever kind of, magical, any kind of magic. So, does doing magic give bad karma? It depends on the person. Okay, how? If you are uneasy about it, then your experience will confirm to you that this was not a good idea. Okay, so that was for me, because I do feel like, I've told you how I feel about it. Okay, so in some cases it doesn't give bad karma. Well, it has an effect. Some people genuinely do not consider it bad. Some people genuinely consider it no different than cooking a meal by buying ingredients, putting them together, creating a meal. They consider magic the same thing, in the sense that you put some things together in a ritualistic way and you get an outcome. They don't consider magic any different than creating a meal. Okay, so for them it's not bad karma? Is it bad karma for them? It does have an effect indirectly. Okay, explain please. It depends on their attitude and how they view the situation. If their attitude is that there is a problem that needs to be fixed, then that problem will remain but maybe change form. So when you approach any magical ritual with the attitude that you want to fix a problem, you will only move the problem into something else. And that will be what you interpret as bad karma. But if you approach it with complete openness to the outcome and leave it into God's or universe's hands, so to speak, and you set a positive intention with a positive purpose without considering anything to be a problem, then you have a more open approach to it, and it will really be no different than setting an intention and allowing the universe to either fulfill it or not without any attachment to the outcome. That is one way of doing magic, and that will have no karma because it will be very open-ended and it will not be forcing anything. It will be no different than some people do their prayers by setting an intention and giving a wish to the universe and detaching from the outcome and allowing it to either be fulfilled or not. Okay, so am I wrong in thinking that, because my thing is that if you do magic, you are kind of like expressing that you don't trust God and you don't trust the universe. Can I have your thoughts on that, your comments on that? That is your experience based on your thoughts and beliefs. And so to you, this has been confirmed to be true by your experience, but it is not the greater truth of it. One can do what you call magic in many ways. Some ways are so common to you all that you do not consider it magic. You all do rituals in many ways that you do not consider magical. And so, in a very real sense, it is a part of everybody's day-to-day life, although you do not call it magic. Some people like to call it magic, and they incorporate it consciously in their day or on a regular basis. And their intention will be very vital in what the results will be for them. The most constructive way to do magic is the way that most of you already do it unconsciously, whereas you set an intention, do something of a ritualistic sort, and by ritual it could be anything from your daily habits to something more conscious. A ritual could be also a habitual thought that you keep thinking. But some people are more conscious in how they do these, and they do them purposefully. But as long as they leave it open-ended and detach from the outcome, it will be no different than your ritual of brushing your teeth in the morning. So it does not necessarily cause bad karma. But what about like black magic? It all depends on the intention and the spiritual awareness of the practitioner. I'm having a lot of resistance to the black magic question. I feel like I don't even... If it's okay by you guys, I'm going to just skip that one because I don't like it. Okay, but give us some general guidance on magic. Intention is everything. And if you are not aware enough of how to set your intention in the most detached and open and trusting way, then you might leave that to others altogether. Okay, so what is the best way to do any kind of magic? By setting your intention and then allowing the results to be whatever they are. If the results do not happen, trust that that was what was best for you. So the best kind of magic is where you are not forcing anything, but rather setting a wish and then asking God or the universe to fulfill it if it aligns with what is best, and allow it to not happen if that is what is best. I think that answered the question, and I hope you guys are cool with not asking the black magic question, because I just like bad vibes. I don't want bad vibes. I do not want bad vibes. As a channel, I don't want to channel that stuff, but maybe I'll feel different another day. We'll see. That was that. Thank you for your wonderful support. I read all the comments, so feel free to express your feelings in the comments. Feel free to tell me what you think about the answers that we got today. And If you want to learn to do what I do, if you also want to learn to channel, join me on Friday. We have a promotion out now, so you get to join the Learn to Channel webinar, and you get the whole channeling course, which is a manual. So learn to channel with me, learn to do this on your own, to hear your own inner guidance and to channel higher wisdom in a way that is safe and constructive and positive and healing. Yeah, I would love it if you guys join me. If it's not for you, then it's not for you. But if it is, do please join me. And thank you for joining me on this time. I really look forward to reading your comments, and I look forward to doing this again next time with you guys. Thank you. Bye.